Yes. Let us see if it works. And it works. Welcome, everyone. We are here once again, like every week, but this time at my usual time, on Tuesdays. Local is here once again, and I have to work on what we left last time. Last time I finished early, and it's okay. I need to work on opening the ports on the VMs, so that then I can actually make everything work. That's the idea. And maybe, given I have installed a couple of packages, I can add them to the list of packages that I install with NetBird. Given that I need to anyways work on the butane file to configure the ports, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, we need to work on opening the ports. That is the main goal. And let's get right into it. 12, I wish. Let me see. It's quicker if I copy it. Perfect. And as you can see, the rendering of the mermaid graphs is broken, kind of broken, on Joplin. Therefore, we'll search for a different way to render them. Maybe we'll create them not directly in Joplin, but outside, and then render them and then embed them in the nodes. I will see if it works as I want it. I tried a couple of tools, but so far it wasn't to my liking. So let's get into it. And it was most likely SE Linux, the issue. And the main issue is that I don't really know if I can configure SE Linux or if I need to use firewall D to open the ports. I can actually test maybe firewall D in one of the VMs, and if it works I will use that. Maybe? Yeah, any of the machines will do. So RPM OS3 install firewall D, I think. Wow. Yeah, sudo ports with firewall D. Documentation how to open a port. Perfect. Oh, don't they have a dark mode? They don't. Okay. Sudo reboot. And in the meantime, firewall D, CMD, so public add port HTTP. Okay. There are different ways to open a port. range or service. These ways depend on the use case and the number of changes that are needed to make it work. A simple port number or port range can be used in the cases where no additional changes are needed. For example, with opening port 80 TCP to allow access to a local HTTP service on the standard port. For most of the more important services, there is already a service defined in FirewallD. Then there is no need to know about the default port numbers. The service can then simply be enabled and in the used zone. If there is a need to open different ports or to do additional changes, then using a service might be simpler. If you need to add a new or custom service, then please have a look at how to add a service. It is also possible to adapt a built-in service according to the user's needs. For example, to change one of the used ports. But it is recommended to generate a new service in this case to make it more obvious that this service has been customized. Okay, this will open port 80. If you want to make this a permanent change also, then open the port also in the permanent environment. This means the port will be open also after a system reboot or FirewallD service reload. How to open a service with FirewallD, zone public, add service. Okay, will there be a list? I will simply check. Minus help maybe. There is a lot of stuff, really a lot of stuff, to the point that it's better to do this. Okay, state reload, complete reload, runtime, reset to defaults. Thank you. Check config. Okay, I get log denied, set log denied, permanent, set an option, zone default, zone options. Get default zone, set default zone, get active zone, get zones, get services, list all zones. I don't want to list zones, but services actually. New zone, delete zone, load zone, info zone, policy, get policies, list all policies. That can be interesting. Policy, set option, SCMP type option, service options, info service, equal path, service. What the hell? Service. Okay. Service, name of the service, get whatever. New service from file. Okay. Services. Option to adapt and query zones and policies. Direct options. Quite a lot of things. Panic on or off. Okay, so FirewallD. Let's try to see what this does. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so allow host IPv6 active. Thank you. SMP. Okay. And if I go into, what was it? Get zones, maybe. Zones. Home. Internal public trusted work. Okay. So I can try. Let me see. Before this, no, I didn't try in here, so I don't have it in here. Wow. I tried here. So this is a range. I wanted a single port, maybe 6443. So we go like this. Zone equal public. Different zones. The meaning of the different zones may be useful, but let's add port equal 6443, and I think it was TCP, but I have it somewhere near. TCP, it is indeed TCP. Oh yeah, permanent. Permanent. Okay, so now if I map port 6443 with the awesome 12, what? What? Minus PN. Okay. Filtered. Oh. And if instead I go for port, what was it? Let's go for port 2379. It's also filtered. Filtered. What? Why? Maybe wait. Not sure. Yeah, so installing firewall D changed the set the situation. Let's say no, 11 and instead 112. It's filtered so far. That's interesting. Okay. Opening ports. Firewall D for it. Installing firewall changed the configuration of ports from close to filter, even though I did not strange. I did not configure anything yet. And that's a start already. And then oh, come on. Okay. And this is how to open a port. So maybe that zone is wrong. Is it possible to... I need a better understanding of the zones. So, zone. Find zones. Use of zones. What a zone is. Maybe I can do it in another page. Thank you. A firewall zone defines the trust level for a connection interface or source address binding. This is a one-to-many relation, which means that a connection, interface, or source can only be part of one zone, but a zone can be used for many network connections, interfaces, and sources. Okay, here is more information about zones. Yeah, nice. For the zone configuration options and generic information about zones are also described in the firewall.zone main page. Thank you. Let's start with the predefined zone. For use in public areas, you do not trust the other computers on networks to not harm your computer. Only selected incoming connections are accepted. External. For use on external network with IPv4 masquerading enabled, especially for routers. You do not trust the other computer. Okay, but I do trust the other computers. For computers in your demilitarized zone that are publicly accessible with limited access to your internal network, only selected incoming connections are accepted. Work. You mostly trust the other computers. Home. For using home areas, you mostly trust the other computers. Internal. Trusted. All network are trusted. All network connection are trusted and accepted. Okay, so from the top to the bottom we have a set of rules that slowly enlarge the net to the point that it is completely open, whereas coming up it's tighter and tighter to the point that nothing goes through. So we need to check the default zone. The default zone is the zone that is used for everything that is not explicitly bound, assigned to another zone. That means that if there is no zone assigned to a connection, interface, or source, only the default zone is used. The default zone is not always listed as being used for an interface or source, as it will be used for it either way. This depends on the manager of the interfaces. Connections handled by Network Manager are listed as Network Manager requests to add the zone binding for the interface used by the connection. Also, interfaces under control of the network services are listed also because the service requests it. And let's go back into here. I need the help once again. Zone, get default zone. Public. Okay, so instead we go to set default zone to DMZ, maybe? DMZ, no, to trusted. It's a little bit risky, I guess, but if I instead put it as internal, if I put it as internal, I still think that what was it? Complete reload. Okay, so now if I search like this, it's still filtered. Okay, let's change it to trusted. Wow. And now it's closed. Let's change port 643. Closed. What? It doesn't make too much sense, to be honest. All network connections are accepted. Oh, wait. Let's put internal once again. Complete reload. Okay, and now this rule that I created previously, mixing Italian, sorry. Internal. Oh no. I want to write everything once again. Internal. And internal it is. Let's see if it's instant filtered. Okay. Filter road. Closed. What? I think SE Linux is still in the way. And what can we do about SE Linux? SE Linux configuration. Reference guide, yeah, proceed, whatever. I cannot disable it by the documentation of in enforcing mode. Enforcing mode. Okay, so I need to configure the policy. So we were saying etc syscon configure. Okay. Changing policy booleans and adding save modules is supported on Fedora. However, we do not include SE manager, and there is no sugar in butane or direct support in ignition for doing those operations. Here is an example to set SE Linux boolean via systemd unit executes on every boot set SE bool. Okay, there is a config. Maybe this is the thing that I want to look at. Yes, enforcing Linux type targeted. Yeah, there was something here about targeted. Specifies which policy is currently being enforced based on only targeted networks. Demos are protected. Okay, so we have a targeted policy that is being targeted, okay. Targeted policy. Policy.35. That is something that was used here. Set SE bool. SE bool. Maybe not really useful. Container manager, yeah, okay, but I need the list. Linux booleans. Nothing. Reference system, reference network, service, reference security, reference appendixes. Okay. Booleans. It's here. As a manage.conf. Okay. Booleans. Okay. What? How the... Whew. Wait a minute. What's written here seems to imply that as soon as there is a service using a port, that port is usable. By default, all ports are open on Fedora CoreOS. Yeah, but if I go like this, I see open. If I go in any other port, I see either closed or filtered. In the case of this machine, because this is closed, but if I go like this, it is filtered. Because for some reason, I don't know, I don't have a rule that opens it. I think the rule I set would open the rule, but maybe I'm missing something else. Zone internal, add port. Yeah, let's go back in here. How to open a port with firewall D. Click on zone public, add port. Strange. I think I could try to just ignore this issue and try to assume that the ports will be open and see what happens. I think I will land in a place that is not good, but at the same time I don't see any other possibility. Because when I open a port on firewall D, it gets back to be closed. What was it? Yeah. I don't know if I installed it, but let's try. Connection refused. Connection refused. Isn't there some kind of minus help, maybe some verbosity? Minus V. Okay. Wow. That's really verbose. Where is the verbosity? You're giving the version. Is that a verbosity? Added thing? Come on. Anyways, connection refused. Sorry. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah, whatever, my steps. CoreOS. What? Running go to social on CoreOS. Go running services. Container. Nice. This is preparation ports to the host as the proxy will be communicated with the container over the bridge network. Publish port. Yes, but this is a container. I'm not really sure. not really sure. Ah, fuck off. AI. Who gives a fuck? This is AI. Let's see. Look, let's try to do what I need to do. Instead of trying to open in the ports, it seems to make more sense. Okay, so I need to go in here, check this version, verify MAC address, check network adapters, check required ports, swap configuration, install container runtime. Run container port Kubernetes user a container runtime. Okay, but first I need to install the I need to install Kube ADM. No, I was installing Kube ADM. Okay, so I start sudo rpm s3 install Kube and Kubernetes and Kube ctr. I will not install or manage Kubernetes or Kube ctr for you, so you need to ensure they match the version of the Kubernetes control plane you want Kube ADM to install for you. If you do not, there is a risk of version skew occurring that can lead to unexpected buggy behavior. However, one minor version skew between a kubelet and the control plane is supported, but the kubelet version may never exceed the API server version. For example, the kubelet running 1.7.0 should be fully compatible with a 1.8.0 API server, but not vice versa. Okay, so you will install these packages on all of your machines. Sounds good. Set SE Linux to permissive mode. Can I? here, that is not recommended. Sorry, I was looking at this part in here. We do not recommend, but I don't care. So before install, so set enforce 0. And then so this is Linux config. Oh, BI, thank you. And instead of enforcing, we go permissive. Permissive. And yeah, permissive, and let's do this as well. Let's try to reboot. And let's see if it's set enforce. Set enforce. Set enforce. Force. Isn't there a status or something? I don't know, but anyways. If I go S3 with a search for Kube ADM, I appear disconnected. What the hell? Yeah, it seems that nothing is remote pair disconnected. Mangia, ma RPM OS3, what the hell? CoreOS. source API string D. What the hell? Start. Okay. What the hell? A bunch of libraries, stack trace. It is telling me not much because I really know what to read in here. SE Linux policy root. Okay, so I cannot. It's not that it is not recommended that it cannot be done. So basically you're telling me that sudo set time force 1, I guess. Okay, so I cannot do this. You're telling me. Which is okay. And first. SE Linux, SE type. And we were saying that I can try to create the CIL language. Statements are not included in the SE Linux notebook as they have been documented with in the SIL compiler source available at whatever. So we need to create something like this, basically. And it may still be problematic. So some class Oh, Jesus. That is a big issue. That is a big issue. Let's do it. This is a big issue because it means I cannot do what I want as easily. Oh, Jesus. What do we do? What do we do? We try to make it work. What do we do? There's not much that I can do. Interview. So. Let me see something. Maybe it is on Fedora CoreOS. Let's see. one thing for certain is that the ports opening failed. We can say it. There doesn't seem to be a clean, simple way to open ports as at least for I have read. Now, Kubernetes documentation leads me to what? Leads me to disable as a Linux completely, but even though the documentation simply does not recommend it, SCOS doesn't actually work correctly if Linux is disabled. I could try to get some CL what? Where is it? Policy module. But I'm not certain it will work with this, and I have no idea how it works. I'm searching a bit more before deciding what to do. And indeed I am. So what's going on? It's great. I'm looking for something like this. Yes, and I have to talking with IPX. Okay, so this seems to do everything, but I don't need everything. CoreOS and the fact that everything is relative to Kubernetes container. Okay, so it's not a clever name. Prerequisite. You should know Fedora CoreOS quite well and how to write retain files, when them to ignition files. See, okay. Used to rely on PXE boot server and HTTP server for provisioning, and everything is more or less based on this in mind. Should have some K-Task Kube ADM basics in your backup if you want to boot how to use it. Change it creation. This version. Cluster name. DNS domain. On subnet seeder. Subnet seeder. CoreOS name. As control plane endpoint. Okay, update initial. Okay. Okay, the thing is that I don't really match. Can you config the bit environment, join, Kubernetes, config template, merge, dependencies controller, dependency worker, mount, installer, Kubernetes controller. Template controller, template worker. Okay, so I can look in more depth into this let's say into this project, but it is a project that it seems wasn't updated for the last 2 years, so I'm not sure how it works, but I can analyze it a little bit more in depth. In the meantime, let's search for more stuff. Yeah, this is kind of useless, but this is kind of bright instead. Okay, premium installation about container runtime and see information. Kubernetes custom choose to use Kube or instead of the pre-installed container during runtime. Okay, so basically this is an ignition script, or better, this is a butane file that gives me everything, it seems. Interesting that the Kubernetes repo needs to be added, but I don't mind. Yeah, I know how to create the ignition file, it's not an issue. Mage, okay. Whatever. Oh. Okay. Okay, this is interesting. This is kind of a fun way to do things. This is 2024. This is part of the reason why I'm using Fedora CoreOS. The next best thing would be probably NixOS, and maybe in the near future I will try that as well. But Jesus. Multi-node cluster that keeps the taint on control plane, and to give an example. Yeah, but not much is said about CDMOS. Okay, experience with okay, Creo is not a bad choice. It's because in the core state, and for what I've seen, for that, and I'm glad we take that increased security, even if it means having to troubleshoot the few instances in which it gets overzealous, and that with set troubleshoot as part of the set troubleshoot package. It's not hard at all. Okay, this is interesting. I can try to install that as well. So there is no need to open the ports, and there is no need to create a CIL policy module, it seems, because Creo will work well, kind of well. And I can use this set SC troubleshoot and SC troubleshoot D. Okay, I will take some inspiration from this then, and modify my butane files to include this stuff. But honestly, I will do so most likely next week, because even though I've been online something like less than 1 hour and 30 minutes, I'm quite tired. So I will be ending the stream shortly. What I can do before that is as it Linux cannot be disabled, but it seems that it's not need to disable. I have found a couple of projects that work on the creation of a Kubernetes cluster on CS. Can take inspiration from those, even though they are somewhat old. And that's good, so I don't need this, but I have learned something anyways. Enable, yeah, okay. What is this? Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need this, and I won't need this. Okay, I think that's good enough. Not so good. I'm also good. Again, short stream, but consistent. We are moving forward. I have understood quite a few things today, so we are closer and closer to having, let's say, a basic cluster to work on. Then I can start to actually do something with it. During the next stream I will try to implement, I'm feeling more like implementing this kind of solution and see if it works. If it does, perfect. If it doesn't, I will adjust it. I will not do basically a one by one, because honestly my configuration is definitely different. If I go into the butane files 1.6.0, and honestly I don't think I need the what is it called, I don't think I need to add the Oh Jesus, I cannot remember the repositories for Kube, because if I search for ADM, it was there. Let's try for Kube CTL. No, it's found, so maybe I do need Kubernetes. It's there, so maybe Kube CTL. Creo is there. So it is just for Kube CTL that I need the repo. But anyways, moving forward, as always, I will try to talk also with a couple of friends that have some experience, at least with K3S on Fedora CoreOS, and ask a couple of pointers, at least in relation to ports and whatever, so I have less doubts, and we will see. Thank you all for watching. See you next week. Luckily out. Bye.